Hi, friends, and welcome to Talking with Famous People. My name's host Eric. I'm the host Talking with Famous People, and today we're going to live type somebody, namely Argus Facts, who should be here in a little while at 3:15. I started the stream 2 minutes early. Rachel, I wonder if you could be so kind as to get me a water from the fridge in the garage.
I could be so kind.
Thank you, my darling.
You're welcome.
So while I await live chat participants and or the arrival of Argus Facts, I think I'll pull a preparatory bong rip. And I think that will make us all a lot happier. I know you'll be a lot happier. I know I'll be a lot happier. I know we'll all be a lot happier. Let's see here. Good. I currently do. It is working. I see that. I see that when Rachel opened the door, the light changed a little bit. But it looks like it's fine as long as I lean back. Let me bring up the old Chatteroo Babadoo, as they say, in Rhyming Town. So they refer to it as in Rhyming Town. The Chatteroo Babadoo.
Peach or strawberry?
I would like, please, whichever one you don't want. I'd go for either.
See, me too. Alright, I'm gonna do a mix up and then,
Thank you, darling. So hopefully Argus Facts will arrive shortly, and I'm going to ask Rachel to close that blind as well. You need a utensil?
yeah.
You need a prehensile utensil like a pen or a pencil?
Thank you, babe.
It's cleanish.
That's better than what I usually use.
Right. So, Argus Facts is late. Hopefully he'll show up shortly. We had said 3:15. It's now 3:15. I'm hopeful that he will pop in here shortly. He did say that he was getting set up. Well, regardless, if he's just late, that's fine because well, at the moment we're not watching any typing because I'm still waiting for Homie to arrive. If Homie doesn't arrive, then I don't know what to make of that. He seemed excited about getting typed.
Yeah.
And I'll give him till I'm done smoking bong rips and going pee. When I'm done smoking bong rips and going pee, if he's still not here, then I will ask for a substitute.
Gonna chat with him with
Alright, now I'm going to pee in this bucket. It's interesting how quickly something becomes non-falsifiable with those conspiracies, just like John Dean and Timothy Snyder described in their studies. I mean, yeah, that's what it really boils down to is the person interested in understanding how to falsify their own position? Because, holding positions that aren't falsifiable is fine, but I mean, you don't really have good cause to recommend them to others, I guess. Right now I'm developing a shade of makeup that's based on my urine, and it's called Beautiful Yellow. Beautiful Naked Yellow. It's a eyeshadow mostly. People like the word naked in their makeup, Argus. I don't know if you're aware of this. I've learned about this today.
Oh,
It's ironic because, of course, if in fact you were naked, you wouldn't have any makeup on.
true.
I'm just going pee right now. If you give me a second, I'm not quite done peeing. I'll be right with you.
I'm in my pajamas because I'm at home, so I'm comfortable. So
Okay, cool.
let me look.
Nothing feels better than emptying one's body of unnecessary bodily fluids.
Nothing.
I'm happy it happened.
Okay. So, let me start by asking you the question, what's the earliest memories you have approximately? Kindergarten, before kindergarten?
Boy kindergarten.
Before kindergarten? Can you identify a specific earliest memory or a couple of memories that compete for your earliest memory, or are you lack that level of specificity?
I can remember a couple of them.
Okay, can you articulate like details of how those memories play out for you as images, as scenes that play out across time, as words, as takeaways in some other sense?
And like scenes, like I could see a whole bunch of stop places in time.
Okay. And do you take particular meanings away from those early experiences, or do you just think they're just kind of random memories?
Mm. not gonna say they random, bro. Was that before King or after?
I'm sorry,
I
say
think that,
again?
I think that was after. Do you hear me correctly? Because like my mic.
You kind of cut out at the end of sentences typically.
Hold on. I have a microphone. Just give me a second.
Okay. Yuck. Yeah. There's a short stack of flapjacks. There's a tall stack of pancakes. And a medium stack of griddle cakes. Which is most important? My new typing question. My beloved Rachel Apollosa has once again changed her circle picture.
Yes.
She's a circle picture changer.
I am. It's a. Do you know who it's of?
Nope.
It's of Gigi and his female cat that he finds while he's.
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
I
Is
can,
this clear?
yeah, I can hear you well.
Okay. Okay. What was the question?
Do you think those early childhood memories are representative of significant meanings or simply random events that got stuck in your head for whatever reason?
The second one.
Okay. If you had to work a job every Saturday all day for 1 month, would you prefer that job be hosting an escape room or mowing lawns, assuming the job lasted the same amount of time?
Mowing lawns.
Okay, can you explain why?
Because I know what you're going to do. Like in the escape room, you could do anything. But then when people pass out, like you don't ever know what's going to happen. So mowing lawn is more safer.
Okay. How well do you think you'd do the mowing lawn task? Do you think you'd be efficient and quick at it, or it would take you longer than the average person?
Maybe at first, like the first couple lawns will take me a minute to remember how to actually cut a lawn. But after that, I'd probably be like quicker.
Okay.
Probably, like,
Can you remember your 5th grade year very well? How much do you remember about your 5th grade year?
a lot of stuff.
Do you have a clear understanding in your head about which was better, 5th grade or 6th grade?
Oh, 5th grade. 5th grade. Middle school was terrible.
Okay. All right. How was high school?
I mean, it was okay. I didn't particularly enjoy it or anything.
Okay. And how's life since high school been?
better.
Okay. Um. So, can you talk about how it's improved?
I feel more free. I don't feel isolated. Yeah, this high school is bullshit. I don't know. I'm not a very good student, so listening to people talk on hours on end about topics that you already are familiar with kind of irritates me.
Okay. Um. When you're feeling like expressing yourself, are you likely to express yourself musically, in words, in videos, in painting, in dancing, or some other medium?
I do all that.
Okay.
I
Which?
I don't think I have a like selective favorite. I'm probably drawing. Probably drawing.
Okay. Um. What makes a drawing of yours more or less successful than another drawing of yours?
How much effort I put into it, like do I actually care about it, or is it just like something to free myself in the moment?
Do you ever find that effort doesn't correlate with success? That sometimes you end up with a better drawing even though you put less effort into it?
Maybe, but I think that's a buildup of like effort because you have to think about what you're going to draw, how you're going to draw it, what's the picture supposed to portray. It's a lot of stuff the picture supposed to symbolize. So like, I think over time that effort builds up, rather if it's external or internal.
Um. Okay. So, do you, what medium of making do you consume most? Like, are you most likely to consume talking videos? Are you most likely to listen to music? Read novels? Read poetry? Watch musical theater? Watch TV? What are you most likely to consume?
Probably like theory videos, or like ask Reddit.
Okay.
Ask Reddit. Yeah.
All right. Um, how many uses can you think of for a bowling ball?
Bowling ball.
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
Why?
Yeah. Why?
I mean, the thing is, I guess the why would be contingent on the use of the bowling ball.
Yeah. Um. I see a blue bowling ball.
Okay. Um. So, can you think of any way to use this bowling ball besides bowling with it?
You go whack somebody inside the head with it.
I'm sorry. Say again.
I said you go whack somebody inside the head of it
Oh,
with
I
it.
see. I see. Yeah, you could do that. That's true. Okay. When you encounter a new group of people and are introduced to people, uh, what approach do you take towards the group? Is it more of a
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
if you're introduced to a new group of people and
Mhm.
you are just sort of find yourself amongst this group of people, they know each other, but you don't know them yet. Maybe you know one of
Mhm.
them who's brought you around, let's say. What's
Mhm.
your approach to that group? Is it going to be to hang back and watch for a while? Is it going to be to try to engage and be friendly right off the bat? Is it going to be ask questions? Is it going to be say more statements? What do you think your approach would be?
Well, I definitely think it depends on the dynamics of the group. Because even in the group, there are people who are more closer than other people. I think I would notice that off bat. Um, yeah, I'll probably just go up and be friendly and be my weird self.
Okay. So, uh, what do you find yourself more prone towards being lost in your head as you walk through the world, or more prone towards being aware of what's going on in the moment?
Can there be like a middle part?
Um, I mean, they kind of are exclusive of each other in the sense that if you're lost in your head, it means you're focused on stuff that's not in your environment. If you're focused on stuff in your environment, then you're not lost in your head.
Um, I would like to say focus on my environment. Yeah.
Okay. Um, if you had to give a piece of advice that you think universalizes well, which is to say, almost everybody could benefit from this piece of advice, what's a piece of advice you'd give?
Um, Universally. The world's not really a bad place. It just have bad people in there.
Okay. Um,
Yeah.
if people ask you how to distinguish between good people and bad people, what metric would you suggest they use?
How they treat people around them,
Okay.
and how do they look in the world in general.
So, what's an indication of appropriate treatment of others versus inappropriate treatment?
I mean, it depends on the context. Um, like in a work environment, you can clearly tell what will make somebody uncomfortable. Some people are okay with some people are okay with like what is not considered normal, but most of the time people gonna feel uncomfortable because the workplace is a place where you don't have to really socialize. I guess you really don't have to socialize because it's like everybody's the same thing. We really just an employee, and like you're not really supposed to do anything outside your job. So
Okay.
it depends on what job you work at. But I know where I work at. Where I work at is definitely like that. I just like there's like go to your workstation, and I looked at the workstation, and it said 4 numbers, and I was like, damn, I'm a number now. That's crazy.
Can you talk to me about your own understanding of the cognitive function extroverted feeling?
Okay. Extroverted feeling, like my experience with feelings, or like my personal interpretation.
Like, well, what's your understanding of what it means to say somebody is paying attention by extroverted feeling?
Um, just understanding people. I mean, it could be maybe like a wave kind of. Like you know how they say trends come in waves? It's like that, but understanding the emotional basis behind that. Like you can notice that certain things make people happy, or like you'll see that people get upset. Which people tend to get more upset? Which people tend to be more happier? More people who be aloof. It's a lot of ways you can describe it, but I think it's just understanding the emotional validation of other people.
Okay. If if we understand that some of the people feel emotionally validated, and we also understand that we emotionally validated some people, can we conclude necessarily that some of the people who feel emotionally validated do so because we emotionally validated them?
Somewhat. There's definitely like an internal thing versus an external thing. So like a person can be secure with their own emotional intensity, whatever you want to call it. People can be okay with themselves and not need other people per se. Even though we're social creatures, we really need to be around other people, even if it's just one person.
Right.
Because no one truly wants to be alone. I don't believe that.
I agree with you there. I think that's true observation that people don't want to be alone.
Where's my phone?
Do you think that there's a perception that people do want to be alone?
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
who do you think is expressing this notion?
I mean, personally, or people I know. Like, when you like, are you talking about me as a person, or like the world outside my little
Well,
bubble?
I mean, I'm curious as to what's making you conclude that. In other words, are you concluding that about the world in general, or are you concluding that about your own experience? And if you are concluding about your own experience, are you extrapolating it out to mean that you think it should be generalized to the world in general?
I mean, that's an idealized state of mind. I don't think I would put myself as the notion of everybody else because everybody's story is different. But I mean, yeah, I think my father, he's kind of a loner by choice, but at the same time, you can see him grasping for air. Like you can notice that he truly doesn't want to be alone, but he just doesn't know how to treat people, so people don't want to be around.
I see. Um, how many different ways can you think of for me to impress my girlfriend?
You mean what's her name again? Rachel?
Yeah.
I don't know. Draw a picture or something.
Right. Um, let's see here. If you were asked to fix a
So I guess give me a second, please. Hold
Sure.
that quick.
no problem. Everyone's a little more convinced for me than I am. I haven't seen him really attempt to get any yet, so I don't know. Who is my father's sister's son in relationship to me?
What did you say? Am I supposed to ask a question? Or
No, I said, who's my father's sister's son in relation to me?
father, sister, son, your nephew, right?
No, my cousin.
Hold up. Father's sister, so your dad's sister, son. Yeah, your cousin. That's your cousin.
Okay. And who is my mother's husband's only daughter in relation to me?
Your mother's what?
My mother's husband's only daughter.
Okay. Your mom's mom, husband, only daughter to you. Some great something.
Okay. It's my
Great
mom.
something.
It's my mom. Okay. So.
I feel dumb.
Let me ask this. How many different ways can you think to say the sentence, there are too many pigs living in this barnyard?
There's too many pigs living in the barnyard?
Yeah. Other ways to say the same sentence. Let's say you've been employed by the state, and they want you to say it more bureaucratic sounding. Like they're gonna give a ticket because they've got them squeezed in there too much.
Bureaucratic. Okay. You said bureaucratic?
Yeah. So what I said originally in the sentence is, there are too many pigs in this barnyard. So I want you to say it bureaucratically.
What? I'm not okay. There's too many pigs in the barnyard.
For example, the corral afforded to these hogs is insufficient for the number of hogs provided given the square feet of the total area of the space. Something like that, you know? Okay, so, look, here's the thing. You test TI probably 8, but you test any polar, which puts you at SI6, which puts you SE2. So that makes you either an ISTP or an ISFP, and your TI results show ISFP. So what everybody's been saying here from fairly early on was either INFP or ISFP. I think that the best answer is ISFP, and I am ready to face any questions or pushback you have about the matter as well, or anybody else in the chat has.
That's gonna take some time. Hold on. People, okay, so I took the test a couple of times. So I'm aware of like certain types that people can get, like the INFJ one. I was like, okay, sure, because so many people say they're INFJ. So I was just like, this is what the test says I am. So I'm gonna run with that one for a while, but I'm not sure because I mean the test in Myers-Briggs system was not the most accurate thing in the first place, but okay, so when I first took the test, the first time I took it, I got INTP, and I felt validated by the INTP because I feel like I'm an internal thinker. But then I took it again. Like I took it multiple times. Like I got all the the analyst at one time. Like I never got like, okay, let's sum it down to the types I didn't get. Like I never got ESTP. I never got any of the defenders or whatever you call them category.
SFJs.
Yeah, I never got that.
SJs.
With the SFJs, I know they're okay. I guess I think they're kind of dull, kind of, and very repetitive. So I get bored with SFJ types. NTJ types, I feel like they're very controlling. Very controlling.
Okay.
NFJ types, I feel the most comfortable around. Like NFJs and INFJs, I feel the most comfortable around. What's the other types again? Like ISTP. Well, I think my dad's an ISTP though. Like I think my mom's an INFJ, and I think my dad's an ISTP.
Okay.
I think my younger brother is either a ESFP or a ESTJ.
Okay, so I mean, the way I typed you was basically process of elimination. Given the fact that you tested any polar on several occasions, which is to say, in each instance where I asked you to come up with a variety of new ideas, those ones tended to stump you, and that's typical of an expert intuition polar. And then for TI, you seem more 8 slot. In other words, you're able to do some of the questions, you get the concept of it, you're able to work through the thinking of it somewhat, but it's not a conscious function for you, and you give up on it fairly quickly if it's not serving your interests.
That's a debacle. I'm not gonna say I don't use TI, but I was really just accommodating to you because you're the host. So like I wasn't trying to jump out the question by Aries when you're the host. Like I'm literally expecting you to give me the answer.
Right.
Is there any answers?
So that's indicative of a non-TI approach.
I guess so.
The thing is, I have a lot of examples of individuals that answer in different ways those same questions. So I know where someone falls in the stack, basically, or at least where someone falls in terms of native attention towards that modality.
Modality?
Well, like, for example, there was a question I asked that you interpreted it as a different kind of question than one I asked. At the time, Legends Fall identified it and said he doesn't see that that's a TI question because the way you approached it was not from a TI approach. People approach those kind of questions from a default perspective. In other words, they're habitually the way they do. And
what was the question again? I wasn't really thinking too hard. I wasn't trying to think too hard.
Okay, well.
Would you want me to be like going through the nuance of thinking, going to every plummet of thought? Then I can do that. Like that's not a problem for me. I would just.
No, but for example,
you're just so random.
But for example, if I were to ask Legends Fall if he's still here, or any of the ESTPs or any TI user here, if I were to ask them who is in relation to me, my father's brother's son's sister's mother, they'd be able to tell me in fairly short order the answer. Legends Paul, can you tell me the answer to that? I'll repeat it again.
What if I had a thinking impairment or something like that? You can't verbally structure someone's thoughts off of a cue of an answer that's not.
Okay, well, it's not a thinking impediment. It's an attentional habit. So you know, for people who are introverted thinking polar, that is to say they never pay attention via those binaries. They never make those black and white distinctions. They instead prefer to take on sort of the meanings that are maybe people intend but can't really be put into words, for example.
Okay. I'm reading the comments again. Thinking about a braces system. Okay. If that's so true, then TIA system will be more functional.
Octavia Silva, I'm impressed with your 8th slot TI. It suggests, Argus, what it boils down to is this. If after you reflect on it for a while and sort of feel your way through it, you conclude you're an ISFP, then you're an ISFP. If after you feel your way through it and think about it for a while, you conclude you're an INFJ, then you're an ESFP.
Okay. Can I get some better questions? Can I get some different questions? Okay, so I wanna be secure of what you just said. I really want to lock that in. I really want to value that.
Okay.
But I'm not convinced.
Okay, so what sort of arguments would convince you?
I don't know. It's really just an analog to people's personalities. So I'm not sure. But taking a suggestive view of things, I guess that's the way of solving people's dilemmas or whatever.
Well, it's people score well or poorly on certain kinds of skills-based tests, okay? And those things correlate to each other in predictable ways. So, for example, people who don't typically distinguish things via binaries are more likely to move towards, naturally, holistic claims like, well, people can't really be put into boxes, it's not really a meaningful distinction or something like that.
But binaries, so like each person has a decision-making complex or something like that. Is that what you're trying to inquire? Because if you're using let's say every 2 individuals. Let's put that into a scenario. I say let's put the total to 10 people, right? And basically you're saying like half of the percentage, right? So that would be like 50%. You're saying 50% of those people don't understand the complexity of binaries, or what are you trying to? I'm trying.
No, well, I'm saying we can understand our life in terms of things that are binaries, which is to say things that can easily be reduced to on-off statuses. For example, this screen right now has you moving in live action. It's not binary. It's continually changing, right? In contrast, and also similarly, the mic button here on the screen for whereby.com, it bounces up and down. It's dynamic. It's responsive to my voice. When I'm louder, it bounces higher. When I'm lower, it bounces lower, right? In contrast, there are some buttons that I can just turn on and off. So I could turn on the camera, and the camera would go on. Now it shows Rachel sitting over there in the chair. That's why I don't have it on, because the other camera is on me. But the thing is, that's a binary, right? It's either on or off. It's not continually changing. It's one of two statuses. So we can see the difference between things that are binary and things that are dynamic, things that are static and things that are dynamic in the buttons on this screen. Some of them are dynamic, some of them are static, right?
But I'm trying to see. I'm trying to value both subjectivity. So, if you saying my opinion was that people can't be isolated into groups, as you said, I said, and you saying that binaries are not the approach of thinking, but why can't you value both at the same time?
Well,
you have to deduct. Okay, let's say for logical argument, because people love logic so much. It's a situation where logic is most apparent. Like you need a straightforward answer, something that can be validated by the consistency principle, right? I think that's how you will validate that. Um, I mean,
Okay. So the thing is, you know, how do I communicate this? Logic is just, we can think of it best as just using a disinterested calculus. So in other words, when you don't care and you're trying to be fair, let's say
so
you
like,
let's say you've been asked to be the referee of a game, and you got two games. Okay, in one game, your friends and family members are on one team, and people you don't know are on the other team. And in the other game, everyone playing is a complete stranger, and you have to referee both games. Now, in one game, you're going to be more tempted to use an interested calculus, possibly, to see fouls that your family member committed as not fouls, and fouls that the strangers committed as actual fouls. In the other one, you're less likely to be biased in that fashion, right?
if that's the like you said, the value that you're going for, of course, it makes sense that you want less biases of approaching that. But can we talk about like a different topic, like a whole different topic, so we can like maybe like using not in value questions, maybe using like a whole topic in general, like science, philosophy, religion, or something like that, so you can hear like a different wavelength.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, how about we try it this way? This will be a different approach. Why
To
don't
hear
you
the
type
FI
me?
is my main.
Why don't you type me? Go ahead. You ask the questions you think I should be asking. You type me.
Okay. Okay. So. Okay. There's okay. So this one guy I know. He has his own fanatic religion kind of thing going on, and he has said that God is a woman. What do you think about that?
I think I'd have to know more about what the person means or intends to express via that particular statement. By itself,
This man from Pager Rank. Who is this?
this is this same hater that I get all the time. This person has strangely devoted their life towards hating me and trying to shit on me at a very possible opportunity. I don't quite know what to make of him. I guess he.
It's quite hilarious. It's quite hilarious. Because of username. Eric's a freeloader.
Yeah,
Jesus.
well,
Um,
like I said, the guy is kind of, I guess, obsessed with me, for lack of a better word.
I guess that's very definite.
Yeah,
So
it's really.
he seems
upsetting.
FI. FI. I don't think I have FI. Scotty, you could leave Arcus down here a bit longer. Spock. Wait, hold up. This is definitely an inside joke. Scotty, you can leave Arcus down here a bit longer. Spock and I observed that he's not wearing a red shirt. Tell Kirk Jerry said hello.
That's just Winston's
Yeah, I
mom.
watched that
I mean,
show.
Winston's momish. I wouldn't put any meaning into that at all. It's just Winston's mom saying stuff that's kind of weird, which she does periodically.
She's using an inside joke. I don't understand the inside joke. Octavio Sylvia, I didn't see that comment appear in my live chat. Okay, these guys are not talking about what's going on this other website. Yeah, okay, so like metaphysics and stuff, like I'm very interested in the concept of that. Like, okay, so like tarot card readings. You know how like they flip the card over and they seem to know your future? Right? How is that literally possible? They can't see the future. A person like, okay, let's give someone a constraint of being a human being, right? That's their limitation. They can't think outside the observer field because they're resigned to being a human. And to have that God complex, I think will be a different nuance of thinking, don't you think? Because if they're a God, why would they use cards to derail humans? Like, wouldn't you use a better way of, I don't know, attaching yourself to human morality or whatever you call it? Like, it's a lot of ways you can think about metaphysics. Because I think metaphysics can be applied to anything, really. Like, if it's like, okay, so let me see if I remember this context where cognitive. Okay, so the state of having inconsistent thoughts, belief, attitude, especially into behavioral attitude and change. So cognitive dissonance. I had another word, or maybe. So this guy used to know. This guy used to know at my other job before I changed warehouses. We were talking about psychology because he went to school for psychology. Okay. I don't know how to review psychologists themselves because it's like, who reviews the psychologist? If you get what I'm saying? Like, they're reviewing everybody else's mental state that has to be taxing to your well-being. So,
I mean, what do you think the job of the psychologist is to do?
What did you say? I'm sorry, I was trying to tell you. Okay, you gonna have to get out.
God, Jesus Christ. What a dickweed.
Dickweed is the perfect description.
What a complete asswipe. Okay, so this room is locked. So
Yeah, Argus.
you're welcome to come in here. As I've indicated before, I have incurred more hatred, I think, than a lot of people incur from YouTube. A lot of people seem to be way more obsessed with me than you'd imagine people getting with somebody else. Like, this person is what you call, like, a complete coward, right? They are unable or unwilling to see who it is. It's this person. I'll put them on hold. So anyway, hopefully, if he wants to come back, Argus can come back over here. Let's see. Cool. Obsessed with me than you imagine people getting with somebody else. Like, this person is what you call, like, a complete coward, right? They are unable or unwilling to see who it is. It's this person. Okay. So we're back and better than ever here on Talking with Famous People. All right. So what? So anyway, hopefully, if you can mute me, please, on your end, that'd be appreciated.
Visual confirmation. There's a super lag on my end. Like, I'm watching YouTube on the side and watching Whereby on the left.
Oh, well, mute me, okay? You're not going to be able to watch it. Okay, so that's the lag, obviously. So if you can mute me over there so that it doesn't make feedback.
Alright, so what hopefully if you want us to come back, please, that'd be appreciated.
I mean, of course, this is why I don't like MBTI. Like, I know it needs to be attached to reality. Of course, that's the whole point. It's not like we're living in space or something. Of course, that's the whole point of everything.
Okay, so
Even if it's just emotional landscape, it's like I'm trying to pick at it. Like I'm really picking at it. Like I'm really picking at it. I don't think I have a low TI. I don't think I have a low TI. I mean, I probably, if you're expecting me to think like 3 seconds in and then have a solution, then that's probably what you're going for. I didn't have an answer because with the family thing, you did get me because I was like, mother, 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 da, da, da. And I wasn't thinking about the verse.
I mean, do you want me to test
I
you
was
some more
trying to
on
think of
it?
people who were dead or something.
You want me to test you some more on it?
Yeah.
Sure. If
And the Crusades. All ENTJs are not stunt worthy. I know ENTJs. They're not always trying to be in the limelight.
Okay, if some squirrels like nuts and all nut likers enjoy baseball, is it the case that some squirrels like baseball?
Hold on, say that again, man.
If some squirrels like nuts and all nut likers enjoy baseball, is it the case necessarily that some squirrels enjoy baseball?
If some squirrels like nuts and all baseball players are nut likers.
No, all nut likers enjoy baseball. Can we conclude that some squirrels enjoy baseball?
Yes.
Okay. If only people from Egypt make pyramids, and I have made a pyramid, what can we conclude?
That you're from Egypt.
Okay. If all blue jays tweet, and this bird is tweeting, what can we conclude?
It's a blue jay.
Okay. If no people from Iceland enjoy BLTs, and I don't enjoy a BLT, what can we conclude?
That you're from Iceland.
Okay. If okay, so the thing is, you got all of those except the first one right. I mean, wrong.
Was it the opposite answer? No.
I mean, correct. Yeah, you got you. The answer was in some instances something other than what you said, and in other instances the answer was no. There's no answer to that. You can't conclude anything.
Duh. Okay. I guess you want me to be going outside the box. Like,
No, that's very much inside the box.
you want me to go outside the box because I'm in the box. If you're given a question, I'm expecting. Well, usually okay. So maybe because I use organized exams to think about stuff, which I'm not a big fan of, but
So
I
what
get what you're
type
saying.
do you
Where
think
if
you
you
are?
want me to be inserting my own reflective thoughts into the equation, of course. What do you mean? Of course, just person from Egypt, anyone can build a pyramid. It's literally that's the point. Anything could be happening. So even with the first one, you said the equation was because you're trying to use some kind of allegory.
Okay, hold on. Forget the words. If all A's are B and some B's are
This
C,
dude's unbearable.
if all A's are
I don't
B's
think
and
that
some
is
B's are
personal.
C, if all A's are B's and some B's are C, can we conclude that some A's are C?
10 experts and 10 archers say the same thing. When the whole world is wrong, they actually aren't. Well, that's wrong grammar, first of all. But what you saying?
I said if all A's are B and some B's are C, can we conclude that some A's are C?
Sure.
Okay. So the answer is no. When the point is you can't now claim to be confused by the words. They just use symbols.
I'm not confused. I just didn't choose to answer your question.
No, you did answer it. You answered it wrong.
I really didn't answer that. So long, give me, I will get banned. You be blending Cloud on your live chats?
I've banned a previous account of his. If he continues to behave in the same way he has in the past, I'll ban it again.
What'd he do? Well, what did he say?
He got increasingly adversarial because of a variety of reasons, I guess, you know.
What were the reasons?
why he got adversarial? I mean, I don't really want to go into why he and how he broke down, but yeah, he eventually sort of stopped being able to be fun. You know,
Well,
he got a little too angry.
I'm assuming there was some emotional dissonance right there.
So, what is it that you think you are, if not an SFP?
Someone told me I was an IFFP before, though. That person saw themselves as an INFJ.
Okay. Well, I don't think you're an INFJ. You don't test as an INFJ. And,
D-bag. I'm not a douchebag. Don't do that.
well, he does say you're walking the line. So I guess that means he's saying you're not on the wrong side of it. But,
I don't care. Don't even try to put me in the line. Don't do that. Because I'll change while I'm speaking real quick.
okay, well.
We want to get to not answer the questions. Why you ask me not to type the questions? Because I wanted to. This is an open discussion. I didn't have to spend my time with him. And he had to spend time with me. But we are here, right?
Yeah. Well, it's been an hour. That's the usual time I afford to typing. And that's the amount of time I'm going to afford to this one. I want to thank you for your participation in it. And hope you have a very pleasant afternoon. And talk to you later. Okay, so my take on that is ESFP. I mean, there's no other way to take it, really. You know, and it's like I could kind of smell it right out the gate. The adversarial quality to the thing, you know, it's as soon as I started talking to him, I could just sort of sense the bristliness of the thing. So
there was bristliness.
You know.
Sure. Yeah. You came out as the emperor.
Thanks, Manuel Antonio. So yeah, my conclusion is ESFP.
My conclusion too. Based on how he, like the evidence given.
I mean, despite my best efforts, you kind of couldn't hide his disdain, I guess.
Yeah.
I really made my best efforts to, you know, go through the typing.
You did.
It was
You did good.
tense, huh, Jaxil?
Yeah, it was, especially since your spite monkey's coming in too. My goodness. And I have to just say, Argus Fax was not, he was adversarial. He wasn't, like...
Very bristly.
Yeah.
The thing about that is there is a natural conflict between ESFPs and ENTPs that I've noted on plenty of occasions before. It doesn't mean necessarily that he's an ESFP, and it doesn't necessarily mean that the ENTPs are right and the ESFPs are wrong or whatever, but it is consistent with what I I know of my interactions with the ESFPs before. Felt like you were watching people speak two different languages at each other.
It was like,
Carly Loves, I have no problem with him not agreeing. I'm saying he really seemed adversarial before I even got very many questions in. He didn't like the kind of questions I was asking, you know? Even though those are the same kind of questions I always ask when typing people. You know, there was definitely an adversarial quality. That's how I read it. I could be wrong. You know, I could be wrong. I'm no expert on people's emotions.
you learn a lot about them through anime.
I mean, what I saw was avoidance of any questions. I didn't see an actual display of any polar. You know, there's a difference.
Same.
Avoidance of any questions doesn't necessarily mean you're unipolar. Like when I asked him how many reasons can you think of for using a bowling ball, he asked me why. You know, well, because I'm trying to type you. You know. Carly Loves, you're done. That's ridiculous.
What happened?
Oh, Carly Loves try to be racial. And of course, any invocation of race is inherently stupid. So. Yeah, and I gotta admit, I sort of pretended to misunderstand the question.
You dealt with it well.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
By saying that, oh, I suspect the why would be implicit in the answer, you know. Well, he probably hadn't really done a lot of research into my typing sessions before, I guess.
Yeah.
Or he would have anticipated some of what was coming. I mean, our Vision TV if self-inquiry is the basis of bias, then why? I mean, I don't even know. I think I know what you're trying to say. You're trying to say that my definition of self-interest, of an interested calculus, and you're calling it self-inquiry, those are totally different things. So self-inquiry is not the basis of bias. A self-interested calculus is the basis of bias. And that's a very different thing. Those are very different things.
At some point, it just felt like acting. Like, as I've been on this channel, I know what to look for in ESFPs more. And I'm like, oh, he's trying to act like a different type.
Right.
A lot of ISFPs are like pretty okay usually with their type. Maybe like a little apprehension, but it doesn't go like that.
Yeah, it's a strange phenomenon. I don't really know what to do with it. You know, it's like somebody said earlier. It's like we're speaking different languages.
Yeah.
It remains that way. I have no way of communicating what I'm trying to say. I don't think successfully. It's a phenomenon of two extroverts with all conflicting values. So everything that's absolute value for me is instrumental for them, and vice versa. Their absolute values of SE and TE are basically in countervalued or insecure spots for me. Their instrumental values of FI as a tool function runs afoul of my fundamental instrumentality, which is TI. And Argus Facts, it's a tricky thing to explain, but when you're accustomed to using as your tool function introverted feeling, it means you know clearly what you want to be, and tend to determine statuses accordingly. So it also means you almost never use introverted thinking to make those calculations. That's the nice thing is Argus Facts, that's not relevant to what I'm saying, so it's not responsive, so it doesn't matter. You're valuing MBTI very much, or valuing whatever, is not responsive to what I'm saying, which is, regardless of whether you want it a lot or a little, knowing what you want and trying to get it is implicit to your nature of being. And the action you take is to concretize things. It's not to just talk about them, right? So I'm not trying to push anything on you, Argus Facts. I don't expect you to accept my typing. I don't know if I've ever encountered an ESFP yet who has. And I expect you to say that it's irrelevant to you. You can't be boxed by that. I don't know you. You weren't really trying hard. You weren't really giving your real answers. All the other things that ESFPs say. So, I don't know. Argus thinks TI equals IQ, that's why he's offended by scoring low. No, he didn't pay any money. He didn't have to pay anything. I said I'd do it for free if he wanted to do it live, Which, the thing is, I don't mind doing that because it tends to get maybe a larger response to the audience than normal. But this is not the first ESFP who's taken advantage of my suggest the right thing at the right moment. Who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah.
ESFPs are doers, right? They say, you know what, fuck it. I'm just going to say this. I'm just going to suggest it. And he indicated he didn't care if it was live. I said, oh, well, you don't have to pay me then. If we're going to do it live. Because then I'm live streaming and it has sort of double purpose and stuff. And, that's one of the strengths that they have. Doesn't always play out like they wanted it to, but oh, the weather outside is frightful, and the fire is quite delightful. So whatever you meowity mew, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Who does Carly love, I wonder? Apparently Carly loves my mom. You love my mom, Carly? Gosh, thanks.
That's sweet. I love your mom. I love your mom, your dad, and your daughter.
Well, look. yes, I get that there was a lot of pressure to perform on him on camera. Keep in mind, he said, "Yeah, I don't care. Sure, let's do it live." He didn't have any particular perspective on it at all. He just responded immediately. Had he actually been an INFJ, don't you think he'd be a little bit more hesitant about that? Had he actually been an ISFP, for that matter, wouldn't he have been a little more hesitant about that?
Definitely, if he was an ISFP.
I mean, the
INFJ
ISFP
would be hesitant too.
The ISFP that
I was
I
hesitant.
typed this morning didn't even want me recording it at all.
Yeah.
Even if I upload and share with him.
No.
So I didn't.
Didn't even have to wear the headphones.
At first, I was thinking ISFP because he was not answering any idea questions. But then it just turned into he was just being fighty towards the end.
I don't think we're exactly threatened by each other. I think we clash in an environment that doesn't include both real-time and turn-based components. And if we're in an environment where there's no ideational aspect to it, then I'm gonna run afoul of the ESFP's righteous fury. In this context, it's gonna go the other way around. You know, if you are together on a team and there's something for each person to is a niche for each person to meaningfully fill, then as extroverts, then it can be a collaborative relationship. But you gotta get ESFPs directed towards the right kind of thing, you know?
Eric is right about INFJs being hesitant. I did jump on the opportunity to have a typing with him and record it, but I was like, damn, like I wasn't expecting to be on screen right now. So I was a little hesitant. He's right.
I hid that user, banned them. Sorry about that, everybody. You know, there are idiots in the world, and periodically they come by here and say they're idiotic shit. I do my best to prevent them.
I dedicate my next bong rip to Jane Strauss. She's doing good. Miss her.
Wait a second, Cloud. Another dramatic shift in behavior? Now you're vegan? No, not you. I wonder how long Cloud's vegan period will last. Legends Fall and I are on the same wavelength there. I've done live typings before. It was a lot of fun. I don't think it necessarily has to be unfun, but what I've noticed is while I have typed a few ESFPs, usually in some contexts like that, they don't really want to pay me to type them.
Oh,
I think they know they're not really going to. They're not really gonna. P. You like less the ones where you ramble on for hours? Erica Butler, rejecting my rambling? Shame on you. My rambling is some of the most juiciest rambles you're going to find on the Bramble Trail. On the old Bramble Trail. Don't go changing the old Bramble Trail. That's what they say.
please do not.
You also started lifting, got to grind that SC dominant body for summer.
Good for you.
Watcher Mystic says, I have a terrible understanding what he's saying in the rambly ones. Well, I'm just saying the same thing as I'm saying in the other ones, just in a more rambling fashion, I suppose. I don't really think I generally ramble a great deal. If I'm uploading a video, it tends to be pretty on point. If I'm in a live stream, I'm responding, I'm interfacing. I'm not making a speech of some sort, right? Why are ESFPs so different from ISFPs despite sharing the same cognitive functions? It's because the ESFPs like all their intuition is subsumed by the extroverted sensing, and it's in instrumental, not absolute value spots. So it won't bother them ultimately if their NI says, but this is bullshit. It doesn't really bother them because it's just instrumental. Like, I can live with Rachel saying contradictions about things if she wanted to. I'm not necessarily going to correct her because
Do I contradict myself a lot?
I can't think of any examples.
I try not to.
I don't think you do, but I mean, the thing is, I don't need you to be consistent because it doesn't really matter to me. Like, it's not inherently valuable to me. I also don't really need things to be fair per se. It doesn't really matter to me. As long as they're not too unfair, you know.
Well, it's not like, I feel like the most unfair thing would be like, I have another boyfriend. Isn't that completely unfair?
That would be very unfair. But
Yeah.
the problem with that, I guess, would not be that it's unfair so much as it violates our foundational understanding or foundational contract or something.
What else would be unfair?
Like,
I see us being so fair. That's why I'm questioning.
you want to know where you're unfair? I don't really think you are unfair.
No, I don't think I am either.
But I'm saying, like, I guess if I wanted to make arguments or something, like, we could, you know, come up with some sort of explanation as to why something's unfair, you know. Like, do I really want to trot on this ground at all?
No.
Probably not.
No.
So, let's just leave it be.
I think it's fine.
I think it's fine too. The ESFPs have dominant SE, ISFPs have dominant FI. The ESFP will look at reality first as a subject and then apply value to what it sees. And the ISFP will apply value first and then scrutinize the SE. Well, I think the ISFP will deliberate first, yeah. But I like what you said there
that's
about
true.
we'll look at reality first as a subject.
Mm.
That's true. I like that. I think I'm going to wrap this up.
Yeah.
We've been at it for a while now with you include the other live stream. So thanks for being here. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese.